Who would have thought doctors would lose their jobs? But doctors are being laid off as well as nurses. And I've been doing the research, and this is the conclusion that I've come to. The Medicare fees that were being charged to Medicare by hospitals and or clinics were so inflated and so high and had so much profit built in that now that they've been reduced and now they're at the levels where they're supposed to be, the people who wrote the budgets didn't account for this. Therefore, it's going to look like they're losing money and they're not profitable. So, like every other corporation out there, when you're chasing a number, if you're publicly traded, the easiest way to get there is to cut staff. And you'll hear these doctors say, I had lines, there was 6 months worth of appointments set up. It doesn't matter. If the hospital doesn't see the profit, the people that get cut first are those that work on salary. So they're going to have to take some time to adjust back down to where they were actually supposed to be, what they're supposed to be billing Medicare instead of the inflated numbers that were being allowed. And that is exactly why we see so many doctors and nurses being laid off, because they didn't account for losing as much profit as they did when they flipped the switch and dropped Medicare cost down to where it's supposed to be.
I do believe there's a correction going on in the federal government. Medicare, Medicaid, it was a lot of fat that being cut out. I think Elon Musk would have cut more fat, him and this Doge team. But they hit a snag to where I think they cut some wrong people out, bro. When it got to that Social Security and all this other stuff, where they was finding people that was 200 and 300 years old still receiving Social Security. I think they ran into a monster in the dark room, and they had to go away with that. But yes, people can say, "Oh, the big beautiful bill with the Medicaid cuts hurt everything," but everything was overinflated. Everything, man. There's no way a broke leg, or you break if I go out and break my leg or break my arm, I'm in so much debt to where that can possibly bankrupt me. I need a surgery. You talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars for a surgery here in America. That's it's just unmanageable and unrealistic, just like the education system in college. Man, why is college costing hundreds of thousands of dollars, just like the medical field? Hundreds of thousands of dollars for me to go to the hospital, man. That's why most people are so scared when they get sick. They scared, bro, to go to the hospital because the shit costs so much. People can't afford it. All right, I go to the hospital. Now I might lose my house because they're going to be coming after me for these medical bills. I don't have the money. I don't have thousands of dollars laying around to fix this or fix that or surgery this or correct this, man. Right now, we're living in a time where corporate greed is just destroying America, have destroyed America. And I always tell people, and I know my show might get demonetized, and I know my show might get canceled. And that's fine. This show might get canceled. But how is a politician, I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican or whatever you might be, I could care less. I'm not neither. I'm neither. But my thing is, how when they get in office, they be worth a few $1,000s, maybe $100,000. They have a salary of $174,000. After one or possibly two terms, they're millionaires. How in the hell, what kind of investment that you have, share it with me, that in a few years you can become rich by not having no connection and no contacts, but all of a sudden you wealthy and rich, man. And I think the greed is to the point right now where it's starting to hurt doctors. And don't get it twisted. I think doctors was in on it. I do. There's no way that shit should cost that much. There's no way. You go to other countries, it don't cost that much. So why does it have to cost that much? And if somebody out there, leave it in the comments. I read my comments and I give everybody a like in my comments. Some comments I can respond to and some I can't, but I at least get everybody a like, whether I agree with your comments or not. You will have a like from the Dry Bones Media or Avery Ashray. You're going to have that like. But why does this stuff cost so much? And now that's the reason why people are starting to lose jobs when Medicaid got cut, because it is so inflated. It is, man. And people, and now I saw one lady saying the nursing home was calling the parents to come get their parents because Medicaid was cut and they not gonna be able to afford to keep their parents in these nursing homes. Why? Why? Why is it? Why is it so expensive to stay in a place where you need the help? I don't get it. But now don't get it twisted. Back in the day, the people, the families, bonded together and took care of grandma. They took care of Mima. They took care of granddad. They took care of Pawpaw. They did that. You know, it was the family that did it, instead of sending them off to people to take care of them. So maybe this is a good thing. Maybe this is going to build the family unit back. But who knows, man? Let's get into the next video where this black nurse says she was laid off from her job because of budget cuts and because of Medicaid. So let's get into it.
So I got laid off today. I'm a registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse for 3 years. I've been a home health nurse for the past year. Alongside being a home health nurse, I've also been a healthcare coach remotely. A few weeks ago, I was laid off from my second job as a healthcare coach due to Medicaid cuts. Today, I was laid off from my agency due to my client being cut from Medicaid. Mind you, this is healthcare, one of the most lucrative, job secure fields that you could possibly have. And here we are having nurses and doctors being laid off left to right under this administration. And if you ask me, this is only the beginning. If we don't do something now, things are going to get worse after this. You have groceries increase, gas increase, bills increase, unemployment increase. This is crazy. This is crazy. And something really needs to be done.
Oh yeah, everything is super inflated right now, except your paycheck. And I tell people, you go to the grocery stores, man, things are inflated. They say, oh, gas is coming down. It's still super high compared to what people are making. Homes is ridiculous. They live in a safe neighborhood now. And I know some people gonna be like, well, I live in a safe neighborhood. And that's kudos for you. But here in Atlanta, you better be in a certain area, or your door might get kicked in. Let's just be honest with that. Or your car might get stolen, especially if you're riding around here in one of them with Dodge Hellcats or whatever. I don't see the point of paying all that money for it. And I could care less about a 392 or any of that Demon or Hellcat. I could care less about any of that shit. You know what I mean? That's my opinion. To all my guys who drive them, kudos to you. That ain't my thing. But yes, things are getting super inflated. People are being laid off. And I keep saying this every show, desperate people do desperate things in desperate times. And right now, people's draining their 401ks, people are draining their savings account. And I do think it's probably a part of the plan, man, to have you be dependent on the system, unfortunately. And a lot of people will be, and a lot of people are. But yeah, we're in bad times right now. So tribe up with each other. I keep telling y'all to tribe up. Rent a room, pay $500-$600 a month, whatever you could do, because one bedrooms is hitting from $1,500 to $2,000, and sometimes higher than that, depending on what building you're living in and where you're living at. Taxes is high, traffic is crazy to get to work, and jobs know that if you don't do it, somebody else want your job, and they're gonna do it cheaper. So we all got our backs against the wall at this point. So I tell everybody to keep grinding, stay prayed up, and until next time, I'm Baby Yasharel. Shalom, everybody.